So, imagine that you play Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic with your cover band in front of 50 people in a bar. But then the next time, you play it on a big stadium for 30,000 people with Sting. Viva more. So, how did this happen? I got a call from Slovenian Philharmonic Orchestra, and they needed a keyboard player for a short tour with Sting, which was just amazing. I was like, did you say Sting? Yeah. So it was a Symphonicities tour, and they didn't have a keyboard player, which was just funny because I thought they had a keyboard player, but they didn't. And they had the band, Sting's band, and then the rest of it was the symphony orchestra. So I was lucky enough to get the part to play the keyboards for that tour. We played around 20 songs, and there was a lot of notes. I remember that arrangements were amazing, just written by the best composers, arrangers. Some of the parts were really huge, like Desert Rose had like 20 pages with no pauses, like from the beginning to the end. And at one of the concerts, actually we played on a stadium, it was very windy and there was no one to help me with the notes to turn them around. The concerts were taking place in Ljubljana, in Slovenia, Ljubljana, when you say it wrong in English, in Lyon in France, Nîmes, and then in Monaco. The Monaco gig was actually quite exclusive because I think it was like a charity thing and people had to pay a lot of money to get to the concert. And I remember the cars arriving in front of the venue were just like, sit for yourself. Well, if you thought about symphony orchestra and the people are, because it's like serious musicians and serious music, that people don't drink wine or beer, you are wrong. There was wine and there was beer. I have to mention, knowing Sting and his music for so long, playing all these songs with other bands, and then you're suddenly on the stadium in Lyon and the harp starts, the strings, and then you play Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. It's like you just think to yourself, shit, everything is possible and anything is possible. It's crazy. I never thought I would ever play with Sting. There was Sting, Dominic Miller, the conductor, the whole band, the orchestra, people, and it's just like one of my dreams come true. What I also liked about this tour was how well organized it was, and the sound and monitoring, and everything was just, the way it has to be, which is not in many cases with symphony orchestras when they are amplified. We really had the best team, not to mention the band. It was Dominic Miller on guitars, Joe Laurie on back vocals, Ira Coleman on double bass and electric bass, and I think he actually played Sting's original bass, Ronnie on percussion, so top players. Well, of course, we wanted to connect with Sting sooner or later, at dinner or, before the concert. And it was not that easy because, everybody wants to take pictures with him and talk to him. And so I'm sure he doesn't like it. But of course, we want to do it. And we got a chance to talk to him and to get signatures and to take pictures with him. Even more with Dominic Miller, we stayed in contact, and actually we did a project together with him with his instrumental music, which I really liked because he's a very different guitar player than most of the guys out there, and he has a special, progressions, playing style, just something else, and I like that. So we actually did a project together with symphony orchestra, and me and my dad wrote all the arrangements. I was conducting also, and it was just one concert. So a lot of work for one concert, but it was worth it because I think the music deserved it. So we did this in nature, some sort of national park here in Slovenia. We got the whole band, mostly from Sting, of course Dominic Miller included. He brought his, vintage Strat and stuff like that, and it was quite amazing. The way I look at this, you learn instruments, you play, you spend so much time, and you never know what's gonna happen. But if you kind of like it, if you really love it, something interesting will happen out of it occasionally. And to me, that, as a multi-instrumentalist, that I had a chance to be on tour with Sting, it was just really amazing. I love the songs, I love the orchestrations, I love symphony orchestra. It was just all in one. So just do your thing and keep on doing it. Don't worry too much. Something will happen out of it. Cheerio.